A first day's total of 336 for the loss of 6 wickets would certainly seem like a very satisfactory score. But what has been disappointing is the lack of hunger shown by the Indian players. Barring Yashasvi Jaiswal, who scored a magnificent 179. The rest of the Indian batsmen really failed to impress. It's not a question of whether they had the ability to really withstand the pressure that England exerted on them. In fact, what was disappointing was their batsmen simply didn't show the hunger. Everybody got it. They got runs. They got it. They got their eye in, but then they just didn't have the hunger to go on from there, and that was pretty disappointing because some of these batsmen, like Rohit Sharma, for instance, or even Akshar Patel, or somebody like Shreyas Iyer, Shubman Gill, by now they're all experienced cricketers. They are not as inexperienced as let's say a Rajat Patidar or a Jaiswal. They're experienced cricketers, and it's not that they didn't get their eye in; they got their eye in. But a total of 336 for six on the first day pitch, which actually had no demons. The pitch was really good to the lovely Test match wicket. And to have that kind of a score is very disappointing. And I think, except for Jaiswal, the others really have to wonder what is it that is lacking in them. Is excess of white ball cricket, that is a T20 cricket, actually ensuring that a loss of wicket doesn't matter? At this stage, it does look that they're not bothered whether the wicket is lost or not. And there were a couple of bad shots, especially late in the day, when instead of hitting over the ball, we were seeing cut shots played beside the ball or under the ball. And that was very disappointing because at this level, you don't expect that kind of schoolboy mistakes to be made. And we lost 2 wickets on that. And that's why we are 336 for 6. And maybe 336 for 5, for 4, or even 3 would have been an outstanding score. But 336 for 6, I think England have more reasons to be happy than India has. That apart, I think another key factor that I would really like to impress on today is that it did not look like India were the aggressors. That is very sad because it looked like the English players were the ones whose body language was so confident, but not the Indian players. The Indian players looked like they were underdogs. Their body language was that of the underdogs, and there was no confidence. Earlier, at least, whenever matches were played in India, test matches that is, our players walked out, with their chest 6 inches in front of them. But that's not what we saw today. Today was very disappointing in that the body language was all wrong, and it gave us no surprise, especially after the first test when with a lead of 190 runs, 190 runs lead. How do you lose a test? And that really must have been very demoralizing for this Indian team. And that showed today. On the first day of the second test, you're trailing by one test and in a 5 test series, and it didn't look like you were the masters. It didn't look like you were going to call the tune. It looked like you were scared. And that is what has got us most surprising. You take away that Jaiswal's 179 runs, brilliant knock. There's no doubt about it. He's the one who showed the hunger. He's the one who showed the wherewithal. He's the one who showed how it has to be done. You take that away, and then what you have is just a skeleton of a cricket team. Awful batting, and really the temperament and the ability to really stretch the opposition, to really make them sweat for runs, sweat for wickets, that was not there. We just gave away wickets. And look at this England bowling attack. It's such an ordinary attack. They have one James Anderson who has played so many tests and taken so many wickets, 691 wickets, if I'm right in the last count. But what about the others? The others are all newcomers. You should be having a ball against them. But that was not happening. It looked like they were calling the tune and our batsmen were struggling. We won the toss, which I think is godsend, allowed us to bat first. which also means that it will be England who will be batting last, and they are the ones who will be taking pressure. But for that to happen, you needed to put up a big score, and I think we should be able to get at least about 450 runs. But with a new ball due tomorrow early in the morning, James Anderson, he's got some sort of rhythm going. In fact, he bowled very well today. He ensured that he was not taken to the cleaners. The pitch was good, and they struggled to put bat to ball against him. So he actually had a good day. And tomorrow, if the wicket is as damp as it was this morning, and lesser batsmen, actually tailenders there to bat against him, I think he will be a handful. But will India be happy with anything less than 450 runs? I don't think so, because we need that kind of a total. We need that 400, 450 runs. 402 is not enough. We need that 450 runs because this pitch is good, and it will continue to be good for at least for the next day or two. And it is England is not going to bat and like what we did, be more defensive. They'll be a lot more aggressive. They'll come on to our bowlers. They are sitting one test up, so they will be calling the tune. And I think India has a big battle in its hands tomorrow. And unless they're able to get about 450 runs, I think we'll be on the back foot. We'll be on the back foot right through. Not just tomorrow, but the way we have batted this time, even in the second innings, I think our batsmen will struggle because they will not have the confidence. To bat well, you need confidence. And right now, it doesn't look like they're having any confidence. So let's look at how it went today. We won the toss. We opted to bat first, and we made some changes. We brought in Kuldeep Yadav, the left-arm spinner, in place of Jadeja. Many people are expecting Washington Sundar to get in, but I think the selectors decided that they needed an experienced left-arm spinner and brought in Kuldeep Yadav. Maybe it has something to do with the way England is sweeping. I think the Indian contingent or the Indian team's management believe that they will be able to do something with the left-arm spinner like Kuldeep Yadav, who, with his Chinaman and his googlies, gets that extra bounce, and maybe that could play, it could upset the calculations of the England sweeps team. So I think Kuldeep Yadav comes in. They've dropped Siraj, and instead of Siraj, Mukesh Kumar, the medium pacer, comes in, which is really not a bad change because Siraj didn't really bowl at his best. He's an outstanding bowler, but certainly he didn't bowl at his best in his home pitch of Hyderabad. Then, of course, there is this Rajat Patidar. I think he played very well today. It's just that he didn't get enough runs, but he played very well. There was a very useful partnership with him. So he was the third change that they made. Were we pressing the panic button? I don't think so. I think there were two vacancies in any case, and the only change that really went on was Siraj being dropped and Mukesh coming in. So that was more or less settled. Akshar Patel coming number 6, I think that is 2 places too high for him. But maybe on home conditions in Indian pitches, when these Indian batsmen are so used to playing in these conditions, that was not such a big problematic thing. But this is a big but. If with a very inexperienced side, English bowling could really run this Indian batting team ragged, that's a cause for worry. It's just that Virat Kohli is not there, but somehow Rohit Sharma is a lovely, wonderful one day cricketer. He plays the white ball cricket as if there's no tomorrow, and which is how it should be played. He's very bold. But Test cricket is not that. Unless he makes the big hundreds. Because in Test cricket, it's the big hundreds that count. In T20 cricket, it's a quick fire 20, 30 runs which count. But in Test cricket, you need that big hundreds. Like Ollie Pope did it in the previous Test. And Jaiswal is doing it now, 179, which is magnificent. But you need somebody like Rohit Sharma to get that kind of a thing, not just 100, a huge 100. But at this stage, I don't know. He seems to be struggling worse than some of the newcomers. So, and another person is Shreyas Iyer. Shreyas Iyer also, I really don't know because does he put value to his wicket? We're not too sure because it's like he's playing one-day cricket, just throwing his bat around and getting runs. I have a feeling that England will be very happy with what they have done. They've got rid of Shreyas Iyer. They've got rid of Rohit Sharma. What about Shubman Gill? Well, Shubman Gill is playing with such hard hands, and I think somebody like Anderson would always love a batsman like Shubman Gill because he could coax mistakes from him, and I did today. He had him caught behind, edging distantly, playing distantly, pushing with those hands of his, hard hands of his, and getting caught behind. So Shubman Gill is another person who I think is very disappointing at this stage of his career because we expected him to do well in India, we expected him to dominate the proceedings, but that's not happened. Especially today, I think today he must be very, very disappointed the way he played on a good pitch, on a good first day track where the ball was not doing much, it was not turning much, it was not bouncing much, it was not seaming much, and the bounce was ideal. Maybe the odd ball was keeping low, but that's fine. This is a cricket pitch; it's not a synthetic pitch. And to expect our batsmen who are born and bred on these kind of pitches to sit and struggle is, I mean, it's very disappointing. In T20 cricket, the entire setup is the ball doesn't swing, doesn't seam, doesn't bounce, doesn't do anything so that the batsman can put his foot across and hit it out of the park. But in Test cricket, there are a lot of questions asked of you, and those questions we've not really answered very well. So I think if you look at the way it has gone, we had partnerships. I think there was highest was with Shreyas Iyer and Jaiswal. It was 90 runs partnership for the third wicket. But you take that away, there were some 50-run partnerships. There are at least about two or three 50-run partnerships, which is good. But you need to take that bigger. You need to have a 100-run partnership, 120-run partnership, and that is when the opposition shoulders drop. Now it looked like they always were in with a chance. So I think India will need to do a lot of introspection. 336 for six, like I said, might seem a good target, good total, but for somebody who's following the game and watching the way the Indians batted today, I don't think that is a very, very satisfactory innings. Even in fact, the only reason we came up to that kind of a score, 336 for six, is because of Yashasvi Jaiswal. The boy has tons and tons and tons of talent. He is a brilliant stroke maker. And what we particularly enjoyed watching today is the temperament that he showed. He played session by session. The first session, the second session, he was near flawless. And this is exactly how a test match opening batsman should go about it. And another lovely thing about him that I noticed today was he went after the bowling when he had to. The five sixes, which says a lot. Being an opening batsman and scoring five sixes show that you were not caught down. But at the same time, if a bowler bowled well, a good ball, he was willing to respect that. That's exactly what you expect. You play to the field, you play to the bowler, you play to the situation. And I think in Jaiswal, we have an absolute gem. An opening batsman, a left-hand opening batsman, somebody with all the strokes at his command, and more than anything else, what we saw today was big, 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 big temperament. So, yeah, if you look at it, yes, we got more than 100 runs in each of the three sessions. So the batting runs were coming, but I'm not so sure about the wickets. I think we lost two wickets pre-lunch, one wicket post-lunch, but it was the last session that really hurt us. And we lost what? We lost three wickets, and that really hurt us. Three wickets. We got about 100 runs. Like I said, we got more than 100 runs in all the three sessions. To be precise, 103 the first session, and 122 in the second session, and 111 in the third session. So all the three sessions you got more than 100 runs. But the loss of wickets, I think, is what is galling. And why I say this loss of wickets, like I said right in the beginning, is the others didn't show the hunger. You can't be a batsman without hunger. Test cricket is all about, being hungry for runs. And when you are on top of the bowler, you just don't let go. You have to sit on them and grind them to the dust. And except for Jaiswal, I don't think anybody else showed that they had the mental aptitude, the mental toughness, the mental aptitude to really sit on the bowling and ensure that we got a lot of runs. So in that sense, I'm a little disappointed. 336 may look like a good score, but unless we get to about 450, I think we're not out of the woods yet. So that's it. It's been an exciting day's plays. Thanks basically to Jaiswal, who showed that he could bat and bat very well. And the early morning session tomorrow would be very, very, very important. On that note, good evening to you guys.